Last chapter. I hope. Anyway, sorry for not posting, but let's just do this. Prepare for feels because we're killing Koro tilde sensei. I'm not happy about this at all, I'm just out. So let's begin, shall we tilde? Nagasa's pav. I stood in my living room pacing back and forth. How are we going to kill Koro tilde sensei? I sat down on the couch, my mind was jumbled with thoughts all leading to how and who and where or when. It has been a few months since the field trip. We have been going to school normally, we haven't even tried an assassination attempt ever since we messed up our chance at the island. Kayano comes to visit every now and then along with the class, and we brainstorm ideas, but none of them would actually work. It had been a few weeks before it actually happened. I was watching the news when they said they had captured Koro tilde sensei in the school and they were getting ready to shoot with a satellite laser. I ran outside and could see a large glowing dome around the E-class hill. What's going on? I ran down the apartment stairs and into a crowd full of friends and news reporters. What's going on here? The news reporters shined a bright light on all of us and began bombarding us with questions like, what happened while being held hostage by that monster? Or, how do you feel now that it has been captured? They kept yelling and Karasuma walked in and told everyone to leave. After all the reporters left, Karasuma took us into this tent and explained what happened. You can't do that. We were supposed to be the ones to assassinate him. Yeah, he expects his students to assassinate him. Everyone was yelling left and right until Karasuma silenced them. Your work has not gone unappreciated, but we had to do what had to be done. The government thanks you for your hard work, he said in his usual monotone voice. No. We are going to be the ones to assassinate. Karasuma pinned me to the ground. We are done here. One way or another he has to be killed. Who does the honors isn't up to you. He walked out but told a guard to take us to a secure area before he did. We all huddled together so the guard couldn't hear us. Did you hear that? This is bull. Ryoma spat. I agree. We were supposed to do this. Taisei and Takuya agreed. Don't worry guys, we were supposed to assassinate Koro tilde sensei and we will. I said, and how do you plan on doing that? I turned to look at Karara. It's obvious that Karasuma tilde sensei still wants us to be the ones to do it. Besides, we know this hill better than anyone. We can ambush them. Here's what we'll do. We talked about our plan and had everything worked out. Hey, what are you kids talking about? One of the guards walked up to us and Idana quickly knocked him out. Nice one, man. Ryoma ruffled his hair. Hey guys, look what I found. Karma pulled a camouflage suit and a walkie-talkie out of one of the boxes he was leaning on. This is perfect. Okay everyone, get a suit and pair up into groups. We're going to assassinate Koro tilde sensei. We all cheered and got ready. There were 2 guards by the door. Me and Karma took them out and ushered everyone out. Okay everyone, let's go. Everyone nodded and we were off. We went around the hill. Our plan was going perfectly. How are you guys on your end? I said into the walkie-talkie. Not too good, we have more on the way. Hinano said on the other side. It's okay, we're working on getting their attention. I turned my attention back to Karma, who was torturing one of the men with spicy mustard and wasabi. Yeah, I think you got their attention. Hinano hung up. Come on, just think of this as a test at how hard it is to get you to scream. Yeah, Karma was insanely hot. We heard rustling in the bushes. Looks like it worked. You can leave this to me, you check on everyone else. Karma said. I nodded and climbed into a tree. Kimura, can you hear me? I heard static, then a voice. Yeah, we hear you. We're almost clear on outside. Chiba is taking out the last sniper as we speak. I nodded. Good. Meet us by the entrance. Alright. Hinano told us they're all done on her side as well. Everything was going well. Awesome, tell her group the same thing. I hung up and looked down to Karma, who was finished tying up the guards. You ready, Nagasa? I nodded and we went to find the others. This is it, we're going to assassinate Koro tilde sensei. This is actually happening. We ran into Ryoma's group, they were struggling with a big guy. Karma jumped in and kicked him while I stayed in the tree. They put up a good fight. I threw my anti-Koro tilde sensei knife at his foot and went to hang upside down using the same clap trick I used on the island to catch him off guard. I grabbed his head and flipped over his shoulders. Karma drop-kicked him while I held him. Heads up, he's still moving. Kayano yelled and Ryoma came in and tased him. We took a cuck break to catch our breath before going off again to find the rest. We met them all by the entrance like planned and slowly stepped through the barrier. I thought that sounded like you. Koro tilde sensei said and turned around. You've all come so far. There was a few seconds of silence before we all ran at him cheering his name. Koro tilde sensei explained what was happening and we tried to find a way to save him, but it was no use. He told us anything we tried to do would no work. It was too late. You knew about this all along, Rinka said, looking at Koro tilde sensei. No matter what you would have done, too many people know about my existence. Promoted stories. You'll also like Casual, the 1st of September 1237K 8.1K in quad. Now, When We Kiss, I Have Anger Issues in quad. Olivia Murphy needs a fresh start. With her father in prison for a crime he claims he didn't commit and everyone at H. 100 years of waited for you. Giyu X Shin. 389K10 key guest. Ranking number 1 Gyushino number 1 Giyu Shinobu. After a 100 years, they finally got a chance to reborn as humans again. After a 100 years, My Wild Innocent Boss 235K 5.1K Rebecca is the most richest in the world and CEO of the RPA company. She have a fiance and his name is Nan, but she forced marriage to him until Freen came to her life. Photographer 7.5K 183 Isang. Mahuse at Sikat na photographer CB at Isang Magaling na volleyball player C Caitlin. Parang May World War Kapag Nagtatagpo Silang Dalawa. Halos ARAW na. Ang Mudya ing Section E Book 3, English Versio. 547K 5.9K. This story is inspired by Ang Mudya ing Section E, written by Lara Flores. This is my own interpretation and continuation of the story, starting after Kiefer's return. Pick. Believe it. Najike 86.7K 1.7K in quad. What? If I told you, you could be adored by girls, admired by other boys, and quad? The brown-haired girl asked. And quad? All you have to do is say yes or no to my questie. After such words, teasing, Master Takagi-san, 4.4K 134. The story is paused due to life apologies. After the end of Season 3, Nishikata and Takagi return after an eventful day. Now it's their last summer before high school. We all sat in silence as Koro tilde sensei told his story on how proud he was even against Terasaka's objection. Unbelievable, of all the times to give a lecture. Koro tilde sensei laughed. What can I say? A lesson seemed appropriate. Terasaka, a good educator never passes up a good moment to teach. Thank you. Your rescue efforts move me more than you know. I'm embarrassed to admit I'm holding back tears. He pulled his tentacles back from resting on our heads. He was so calm. If he never came here, none of this would be happening, but he came here for us. There was a moment of silence before Koro tilde sensei broke it. Hey Nakamura, I couldn't help but see how carefully you were carrying yourself during battle, and is that something sweet I smell? Nakamura pulled off her pouch. Your eyes are as sharp as your nose. Yup. It's been 1 year since you've blown up the moon, therefore we've named it as your birthday. She opened the box to S large macaroon cake. Come on everyone, let's sing. We all sang happy birthday and cheered when Koro tilde sensei went to blow out the candle. Everything was fine until some sort of tentacle came in and destroyed the cake, and many more tilde. We all turned our heads into the direction of the voice, Shiro. This large tentacle monster erupted next to the man. We all screamed as it attacked Koro tilde sensei. The man explained this godlike creature as we watched it beat up Koro tilde sensei. The man then injected something into his neck and joined the attack. We couldn't make out their moves, but we could tell Koro Tilda Sensei was losing ground. You could tell this was a one-sided fight. We thought it was too late to do anything that was until he started dodging. He was doing good, then there was a snap and a bright red light. It all happened so fast. Once the smoke cleared, we saw Koro Tilda Sensei had protected us. Koro Tilda Sensei. There was barely any time after before there was another bright red glow. It happened about 5 times, but each time Koro Tilda Sensei protected us. Karasuma and Irena Sensei showed up, but Karasuma was quickly tossed across the ground. Koro Tilda Sensei was still on the ground attempting to stand up. The man told him that we were his weakness, and he was right. We were Koro Tilda Sensei's weakness. That is preposterous. We all looked at Koro Tilda Sensei. These children, they've risked life and lived to save me. What they've gone through just to be here for me tonight is extraordinary. Their determination, their unflappable spirit. Students like these are the greatest gift a teacher could ask for. They are not a hindrance, they are not a weakness, they are my class. And I am proud of each and every one of them. Call me what you want, but when the chips are down, I will give my life to protect them. We all stared at Koro Tilda Sensei, but the man continued anyway. That was until there was a gunshot. We all turned to face who shot. Kayano. I yelled, "It's all my fault. We've been like a family and I ruined it, so please let me do this." Koro Tilda Sensei tried to stop her, but he was hit again. I watched as Kayano flipped and ran and went to attack just before she was attacked. One of two. Zero's tentacles shanked right through her, and I just stared. I was terrified. Her body fell lifelessly to the ground, and the man just laughed, talking about how both sisters died or how she could have been a backup wife. I couldn't move, but Koro Tilda Sensei. The rage was fuming off him. He yelled, "There it is." The man pointed to the raging Koro Tilda Sensei like he was some kind of trophy, then moved behind 2.0 and injected something into it. Everyone covered their faces to avoid the flying rubble, but I ran over to get Kayano. I gently cradled her in my arms and ran over to Karma. "We need to get out of here. He's distracted." I could barely hear Karma, but I saw him grab Okuda's wrist and run with the rest of the group. I looked back at Kayano's face and then back at the group and ran with them. We all hid by the class entrance and watched as Koro Tilda Sensei glowed several different colors. I could barely see anything through the bright white light. The fight was over, but none of us were shouting with joy. He came back down to the ground and stood in front of me. Koro Tilda Sensei. Kayano's. Most of the students were crying. To be honest, I wanted to as well, but I couldn't. "Maybe you should lay her down," Chiba said. "Actually, I'd rather her cells not come in contact with the soil." He moved forward. "But sir." I looked back at Kayano, then Koro Tilda Sensei brought out this weird red orb. "What is that?" It stopped in front of us. "You're looking at Kayano's blood and some cells." I gathered as much as I could before she fell to the ground and stored them in a sterile membrane of compressed air for safekeeping. I was stared at him for a second. "You did all that in the middle of a battle?" He reached out to grab Kayano. "I used some tentacles for this while the others were for fighting." "Okie dokie, then time to thread these cells together one by one." There was a glowing light coming from Kayano as the stings threaded in her cells. He reached out some tentacles. "I need some type of blood donors in Nakamura. Get that cake and shove it into my mouth." Koro Tilda Sensei ate the cake while cleaning up Kayano. "The wound's closing and you didn't use so much as a stitch." He laid her down gently on the ground. He then shocked her to get her heart started again. There was a long pause as we waited. Kayano then jolted up, coughing. "Huh. You saved me again, didn't you?" Koro Tilda Sensei tied Kayano's hair back up, "as many times as needed. After all, your sister would have done the same." She smiled, that beautiful smile. Everyone cried and ran up to her. "Kayano, I don't even know what to say." She smiled at me. "Nagi achu. Ah, it's cold. What happened to my top?" I looked away, blushing. Ling with most of the boys, Meg had to snap Taiga's neck. I draped my coat around her shoulders. "Koro Tilda Sensei. You can do that." Meg said. Koro Tilda Sensei fell back onto the ground. Yeah, but I can't do it to myself, you know. But all good things must come to an end, that's life. We all looked up to the glowing red dot in the sky. Guys, we have to make a decision one way or another. We could stay out of it and leave Koro Tilda Sensei's fate to them. Let's take a vote. Who here doesn't want to kill him? Isogai said. Everyone raised their hands. All right, thank you. Hands down now, who wants to kill him? None of us wanted to, but we had to. Everyone raised their hands. We all walked over to Koro Tilda Sensei and everyone held him down. I feel like you're all holding back on your grip. Everyone hesitated for a second before pressing down harder. Why your heart? It's under your tie, isn't it? So who's gonna? Everyone looked at each other, neither wanting to be the one to do it. Guys, please, let me all do it. I walked towards Koro Tilda Sensei with an anti-sensei knife in hand. I sat down on his chest, pinning him down. Sir. I lifted his tie. No need. UCSN actually stabbed through the tie. There's been a hole in it since the day it was given to me. I decided to leave it like that for sentimental reasons. I dropped the tie back on his chest. Ah, before you do, let me say goodbye to my fellow educators. Are you sure you don't want to join in? I would hate for you to miss out on the bounty. She shook her head. No, it isn't about me, it's about these kids. Besides, it's just money. She smiled, but it was a sad smile. Indeed, Mr. Karasuma, I thank you. You've had a hand in molding these children into the people they've become. If you please continue to guide them when I am gone. He nodded. Of course. Rest in peace, Koro Tilda Sensei. Yes. Okay, class 1, have so much more I want to say, but we don't have the time now. If you will excuse me, I'd like to call roll one final time. When you hear your name called, please say here. He called each of our names and we each responded exactly as he said. I unsheathed the knife and held it in front of me. I was shaking. Why wouldn't I? This was the part where I kill him. I pulled the knife up a bit. My heart was racing and I was shaking even worse than before, tears stinging my eyes. I pulled the knife above my head. I couldn't take it anymore. I brought the knife down full speed and screamed. Then I froze. Koro Tilda Sensei placed a tentacle on the side of my neck. Don't kill me with anguish in your heart, Nagisa. Nice deep breath, give us a smile. I calmed down, tears brimming my eyes, memories flooding my mind. The tears were pouring down my cheeks. I pulled my head back, taking in a deep breath. I looked back at Koro Tilda Sensei and smiled. At a few more tears fell. Goodbye, Koro Tilda Sensei. Goodbye, Nagisa. I drove my knife through his tie. I poured so much emotion into it, it was like I thanked him with my knife. This yellow glow poured from the wound. As his life ebbed away, it was like he was saying congratulations. His whole body was now glowing yellow as it slowly faded away. Once it disappeared, none of us could help it. We were all crying, even Karma. I held Kayano in my arms as we cried. I feel we would never let go. We'll miss you, Koro Tilda Sensei. Ah, I'm crying and I don't think it was the chapter. I feel that it could have been sadder, but I'm crying because I had to rewatch Koro Tilda Sensei's death just to get every detail, but still make something's my own. But why Koro Tilda Sensei? You anyway, this was the last chapter to Najike. Thanks for reading, and for all of you guys who have been with me since the beginning, thank you for staying. And if you cried or just because, here's a virtual hug. Hugs. Oh, I love you guys so much. XOXO Yan Nock and Tilda. Where stories live. Discover now.